The Last Stand of Earth. Admiral Chen stood at the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, her weathered face reflecting in the reinforced plasma glass as she watched the Zarkath fleet emerge from hyperspace. Their ships resembled crystalline arthropods, beautiful and deadly, their surfaces refracting the sun's light in prismatic displays. To anyone else in the galaxy, this would appear to be humanity's final hour. Thousands of alien warships against Earth's seemingly primitive orbital defenses. They've passed the Jupiter defense line. Admiral, Lieutenant Santos reported, his holographic form flickering beside her. No reaction to our automated mining facilities or the civilian satellites. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Just as expected. They see what they want to see. A Type 1 civilization barely capable of lunar colonization. How many ships in their fleet? 4,217, ranging from corvette to dreadnought class. Their energy signatures suggest primary weapons comparable to fusion-based artillery, nothing we haven't seen before. The Admiral nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the approaching Armada. For 2 centuries, humanity had maintained this facade, playing the role of a young, struggling species. They had watched as other civilizations rose and fell, as empires expanded and contracted. They had learned from every conflict, every technology, while keeping their true capabilities hidden beneath a carefully constructed veneer of technological inferiority. Send the alert to all Sol installations, Chen commanded. Authorization code. Sleeping Giant. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities began to stir. Beneath the surface of Mercury, vast energy collection arrays awakened. Within the storms of Jupiter, cloaked shipyards powered up their construction base. In the Kuiper Belt, automated defense platforms silently tracked the invading fleet. The Zarkath flagship, a massive vessel nearly 20 kilometers long, moved into high Earth orbit. Their transmission came as expected, broadcast on all frequencies in the standard galactic format. Primitive human species, the translator rendered their message. Your world has been chosen for integration into the Zarkath Empire. Your resistance would be futile and unnecessary. We offer you the gift of civilization, the opportunity to serve a greater purpose. You have 1 planetary rotation to surrender your governing authorities. Chen activated the global defense network with a thought. Her neural implant connecting with humanity's true military infrastructure. Across Earth, hidden bunkers opened to reveal advanced weapon systems. Quantum communication relays activated, connecting Earth's defenders through subspace channels the Zarkath couldn't detect. Send our response, Chen ordered. Keep it within expected parameters for our supposed technological level. The message they transmitted was appropriately crude, filled with pleas for mercy and offers of submission. Meanwhile, Chen watched as humanity's real defensive grid came online. Gravitational distortion fields, dark matter reactors, and temporal stabilization arrays. Technologies they had developed in secret over centuries, refined through observation of countless alien conflicts. They're launching landing craft, Santos reported, targeting major population centers, as anticipated. Let them begin their descent, Chen replied, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. Activate Protocol Prometheus. It's time to show the galaxy why humanity chose to sleep. The first wave of Zarkath landing craft entered Earth's atmosphere, their shields flaring against the friction. They never saw the quantum disruption fields that activated around them, turning their own defensive shields into energy prisons. They never noticed the nanite clouds that began dismantling their hull at the molecular level. In orbit, the Zarkath fleet maintained their position, confident in their technological superiority. They didn't detect the dark matter signatures of Earth's true orbital defense platforms emerging from dimensional pocket spaces. They didn't notice the quantum entanglement nodes activating throughout their formation, preparing to turn their carefully maintained battle order into a tactical nightmare. All systems are ready, Admiral, Santos announced. The fleet is in optimal position. Chen took a deep breath, feeling the weight of this moment. Humanity had waited, watched, and prepared for this day. They had hidden their true nature, played the role of primitive survivors, all while building an arsenal that could reshape the galaxy. "Send the real message," she commanded. "Let's show them why humanity chose to be the sleeping giants of the galaxy." Throughout the Zarkath fleet, new transmissions began to play, bypassing their communication systems and projecting directly into their neural networks. The message was simple, delivered in perfect Zarkath high speech. "You mistake our patience for weakness, our preparation for primitiveness. Today, you learn why humanity chose to sleep. We are not prey awakening to the hunter. We are the apex predator who has been studying you all along." The sky above Earth began to shift as humanity's true defenses revealed themselves. The last thing the Zarkath saw before chaos erupted was the smile on Admiral Chen's face, reflected across 1,000 holographic projections throughout their fleet. The sleeping giants were awake, and the galaxy would never be the same. Awakening the arsenal. Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Zarkath Empire watched in disbelief as his landing crafts disintegrated in Earth's atmosphere. The primitive defense systems they detected couldn't possibly account for this level of technological sophistication. His crystalline exoskeleton clicked in agitation as new sensor readings flooded his neural interface. "Impossible," he chittered to his bridge crew. "These readings suggest quantum manipulation beyond anything in the known galaxy. Check for sensor malfunctions." Before his analysts could respond, space itself seemed to ripple around his fleet. Massive structures emerged from what appeared to be pocket dimensions, their surfaces covered in weapon arrays that defied Zarkath understanding. The humans' orbital defense platforms weren't the primitive magnetic accelerators they detected earlier. They were facades concealing technology that shouldn't exist for a Type 1 civilization. Deep within Mercury's core, Director Sarah Jung activated the Helios Array. Massive energy collection systems that had been gathering solar power for decades roared to life. The surface of Mercury shifted as hidden panels opened, revealing a planet-sized weapon platform that had been masquerading as natural terrain. "Helios Array at full power," she reported through the quantum entanglement network. "Ready to begin strategic grid deployment." Beneath Jupiter's storms, Fleet Marshal Jackson oversaw the emergence of humanity's true navy. Massive shipyards hidden within the gas giant's atmosphere activated their temporal acceleration fields. Ships that would have taken years to construct began materializing in minutes, their quantum cores powered by energy harvested from Jupiter's eternal storms. Ghost Fleet Alpha through Delta ready for deployment. Jackson's transmission echoed through the quantum network. "Awakening the Titan-class vessels now." Admiral Chen's voice reached every human installation across the solar system. "Execute Protocol Prometheus. Full awakening authorized." Throughout the asteroid belt, mining operations transformed into missile platforms. Civilian research stations revealed themselves as tactical command centers. Every piece of human infrastructure that the Zarkath had dismissed as primitive unveiled its true nature. On Mars, the seemingly simple terraforming equipment morphed into gravity manipulation arrays. The red planet's atmosphere began to swirl with artificial storms powered by dark matter reactors, creating a planetary defense system that could tear apart any ship that ventured too close. Vexthor's flagship shuddered as invisible forces began affecting his fleet's formation. Multiple quantum anomalies detected, his science officer reported, mandibles trembling. "The humans are generating artificial gravity wells throughout our formation. Our ships are being forced into tactical vulnerability." In Earth orbit, Admiral Chen watched as humanity's true military might awakened. Centuries of preparation, of watching and learning from alien conflicts, had led to this moment. Every technology they'd observed, every tactical mistake they'd seen other species make, had been analyzed and improved upon in secret. "Deploy the Lazarus swarms," she commanded. From Earth's oceans emerged swarms of nanite clouds, their programming more advanced than anything the Zarkath had encountered. They moved through space like living fog, bypassing shields and beginning to disassemble alien technology at the molecular level. Their weapons, Vexthor observed in horror. They're not just advanced. They're evolved. They're learning and adapting as they fight. Of course they are. Chen's voice echoed through every Zarkath communication system. We've had centuries to perfect them. Every battle in this galaxy, every war, every technological advancement. We were watching, learning, preparing. The Helios array fired its first shot, not a beam of energy or traditional projectile, but a precisely calculated manipulation of solar plasma, guided through quantum corridors to strike at the heart of the Zarkath fleet. Ships began to vanish, not destroyed but displaced through space-time, their crews finding themselves scattered across different sectors of the galaxy. You thought Earth was our only world, Chen continued, her voice carrying a weight of centuries. You thought these few colonies were the extent of our reach. Let us show you how wrong you were. Beyond Neptune's orbit, massive structures began to phase into normal space. Shipyards, research stations, and military installations that had been operating in dimensional pocket spaces for generations. Humanity's hidden empire revealed itself, not spread across physical space, but existing in carefully constructed dimensional folds. Vexthor watched as his mighty fleet was systematically dismantled by technology that shouldn't exist. How? He demanded. How did you hide all of this? The same way a predator stays still when studying its prey, Chen replied. We showed you what you expected to see, and while you watched our primitive attempts at spaceflight, we were watching everything you and every other species did. Learning, adapting, evolving. The Zarkath fleet, once 4,000 ships strong, found itself trapped in a web of quantum manipulation fields, gravity distortions, and temporal anomalies. Their mighty empire, which had conquered 100 worlds, was facing something they had never prepared for. A species that had deliberately hidden its true nature while preparing for war on a scale the galaxy had never seen. And this was only the beginning of humanity's awakening. The counterstrike. Supreme Commander Vexthor's flagship limped through hyperspace, one of only 1,200 vessels that had escaped Earth's devastating revelation. Their retreat had been calculated and precise, exactly as Admiral Chen had intended. As his ship dropped back into normal space at their emergency rally point, he realized with growing horror that humanity had wanted them to escape. Multiple quantum signatures detected. His sensor officer screamed. They're already here. The rally point, a supposedly secret location 50 light-years from Earth, was already under human control. Massive stations hung in space, their architecture unlike anything in his database. They weren't the utilitarian structures of a young species, but the product of centuries of advanced engineering. Through the quantum communication network, Admiral Chen's voice reached every human installation and ship across multiple star systems. Begin Phase 2. Show them why the galaxy's wars taught us to be ready. From Jupiter's shipyards, the first wave of humanity's true warships emerged. Unlike the crystalline aesthetic of the Zarkath or the biomechanical designs of other galactic powers, human vessels were studies in elegant devastation. Each ship was a perfect fusion of every effective technology humanity had observed over centuries of watching alien conflicts. Fleet Marshal Jackson stood on the bridge of the HSS Prometheus, humanity's first Titan-class battleship. All Ghost Fleet squadrons. Execute predetermined attack vectors. Show them what we learned from their wars. The human fleet moved with impossible coordination, their formations shifting through quantum space like schools of predatory fish. Each ship's AI core contained centuries of accumulated tactical data, every battle ever fought by every species, analyzed and refined into pure combat efficiency. Their ships, Vexthor observed with growing dread, they're using our own attack patterns against us. But they're better, evolved. They've taken every tactic we developed over millennia and perfected it in ways we never imagined. In the space around his remaining fleet, reality itself seemed to warp. Human vessels phased in and out of normal space, striking from impossible angles, their weapons combining technologies that should have been incompatible. Quantum-guided plasma beams twisted through gravitational corridors, while temporal distortion fields turned the Zarkath's own momentum into a weapon against them. From her command center on Luna, Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold across multiple dimensions of spacetime. "Deploy the mirror squadrons," she ordered. "Let them see what we learned from the Hexal-Durrani War." New ships appeared, these ones seeming to reflect the Zarkath vessels themselves. They moved with the same patterns, fired with the same timing, but their actions came microseconds before the Zarkath could execute them. It was as if humanity had created a perfect counter to their every strategy, predicted their every move. Impossible. Vex Thor raged as another wing of his fleet fell to the human counterattack. "These tactics, they're from a war we fought 800 years ago. How could they know? We were watching." Chen's voice echoed through their communications. "Every war your species fought, every battle, every victory, and every defeat. We studied them all. While you saw us as primitives barely reaching for the stars, we were learning from your history." The Helios array fired again, this time coordinating with the Ghost Fleet to create a cascade of quantum disruption fields. Zarkath ships found themselves fighting in spaces where the laws of physics had been selectively rewritten, their advanced technology turned against them by an enemy that understood it better than they did. Director Zhang's voice joined the command channel. "Quantum analysis confirms they're attempting to send a distress signal to the Empire. Just as predicted." "Let them," Chen ordered. "It's time for Phase 3. Show them what we learned from the fall of the Nexus worlds." Throughout human space, new weapons platforms revealed themselves. These weren't the defensive systems that had protected Earth, but something far more terrifying. Weapons designed specifically to counter the Zarkath Empire's most powerful technologies. "You're using our own history against us," Vex Thor realized, his voice carrying the weight of understanding too late. "Every weapon, every defense, they're all designed to counter specific strategies we've used in past wars." "Of course," Chen replied. "Did you think we showed you our primitive space program by accident? That our scattered colonies were signs of weakness? Everything you saw was designed to make you attack exactly as you did, to make you vulnerable to weapons we spent centuries perfecting." The Ghost Fleet moved with devastating precision, each strike calculated to maximize damage, while preserving specific Zarkath ships, the ones carrying commanders with the most influence in the Empire. This wasn't just a counterattack, it was a carefully orchestrated demonstration. "Your empire has conquered 100 worlds." Chen continued, her voice now reaching every surviving Zarkath vessel. "But you never wondered why Earth, despite its apparent vulnerability, was never claimed by any other species. We weren't ignored. We were feared. Every species that discovered our true nature chose to keep our secret, to maintain the illusion of our weakness." The battle continued, but it was no longer a fight. It was a lesson written in fire and quantum energy, a demonstration of why humanity had chosen to hide its true power for so long. The surviving Zarkath ships found themselves herded into specific formations, forced to witness the full extent of human military capability. "Remember this day," Chen commanded as the last Zarkath defense lines crumbled. "Remember why humanity chose to sleep, and why you should fear our awakening." The counterstrike was complete, but it was only the beginning of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The sleeping giants were not just awake. They were ready to reshape the very nature of interstellar warfare. The Ghost Fleet. The Zarkath High Command received Vex Thor's distress signal exactly as humanity had planned. In the crystalline chambers of their throne world, the Empire's leaders watched in growing horror as the battle data streamed in. What they saw defied every assumption about human technological capabilities. "Launch the Imperial Reserve Fleet," First Speaker Kithel commanded, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. "All of it. Every ship we have. These humans must be contained before other species learn of their deception." In orbit around Earth, Admiral Chen smiled as quantum sensors detected the massive hyperspace signatures of the approaching Zarkath reinforcements. They've committed the reserve fleet, she announced to the human command network. Exactly as predicted. Director Zhang, is the Ghost Fleet ready? Deep within Mercury's transformed core, Sarah Zhang stood surrounded by holographic displays, showing the status of humanity's most closely guarded secret. Ghost Fleet production is at optimal levels, Admiral. The Jupiter shipyards have completed the final Titan-class vessels. We're ready for full deployment. What the Zarkath Empire didn't know, what no species in the galaxy have discovered, was that humanity's true fleet had never been revealed. Every ship they'd encountered so far had been part of Earth's defensive forces, powerful but limited compared to what waited in the dimensional folds of human space. Deploy the Phantom divisions, Chen ordered. Show them what we learned from the collective wars. Throughout human space, reality itself seemed to fracture. Ships began emerging from quantum space. But these weren't normal vessels. Each one was a masterpiece of hybrid technology, combining every effective design humanity had observed over centuries of watching alien conflicts. Fleet Marshal Jackson's voice echoed through the command network from his position near Jupiter. Ghost Fleet Alpha through Omega. Execute Operation Valkyrie. Show them why we studied their wars for so long. The Ghost Fleet moved like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Each ship was controlled by both human consciousness and advanced AI, their reactions occurring faster than organic thought. They phased between normal space and quantum realms, appearing and disappearing with impossible precision. By the first crystal, Vex Thor whispered as he watched the sensor feeds. Their ships, they're using quantum entanglement on a scale that shouldn't be possible. Each vessel exists in multiple states simultaneously. The Imperial Reserve Fleet, 30,000 ships strong, dropped out of hyperspace in perfect attack formation. It was the largest concentration of Zarkath military might ever assembled, representing the peak of their technological achievement. It wasn't nearly enough. The Ghost Fleet engaged with devastating efficiency. Human ships shifted between quantum states, making traditional targeting impossible. Their weapons weren't just advanced. They were evolutionary, adapting to Zarkath defensive measures in real time. Now they see, Chen transmitted across all frequencies. Now they understand why we watched and waited, why we let them think we were primitive. Every war your species fought, every battle, every technological breakthrough, we were learning, adapting, evolving. From Jupiter's shipyards, the last of the Titan-class vessels emerged. These weren't just warships. They were mobile battle stations, each one capable of engaging entire fleets. Their quantum cores pulsed with energy drawn from multiple dimensions, their weapon systems representing the pinnacle of human military science. Your empire's greatest mistake, Chen continued, her voice reaching every Zarkath commander, was assuming that our apparent weakness was genuine. You never asked why a species capable of interstellar travel would maintain such primitive-seeming technology. You never wondered why we watched your wars with such interest. The Ghost Fleet moved through the Zarkath formations like predators through a school of fish. Each human ship seemed to know exactly where enemy vessels would be. Their attacks coordinated across multiple dimensions of space-time. It wasn't just combat. It was art, written in quantum fire and gravitational distortions. In the Jupiter shipyards, Jackson watched as the battle unfolded across his tactical displays. Deploy the mirror protocol, he ordered. Let them see what we learned from their own civil wars. New ships materialized, these ones exact copies of Zarkath vessels, but enhanced with human technology. They moved with perfect prediction of Imperial tactics, countering strategies that hadn't even been implemented yet. It was as if humanity had created a perfect simulation of Zarkath military doctrine, and then evolved it beyond its original limitations. Impossible. First speaker Kithful raged from the throne world. They're using tactics from our most classified military archives. Strategies that were sealed away millennia ago. We know, Chen replied, her voice now reaching the throne world itself. We know every battle your species has ever fought. Every victory, every defeat, every strategic innovation. We studied them all, learned from them all, and improved upon them all. While you thought we were struggling to reach the stars, we were preparing to reshape the galaxy. The Ghost Fleet continued its inexorable advance, not just defeating the Imperial Reserve, but systematically demonstrating the full extent of human military superiority. This wasn't just a battle. It was a message to the galaxy. Humanity hadn't hidden its true nature out of fear. They had done so by choice, preparing for the day when they would need to emerge as a fully realized power. As the last of the reserve fleet fell to human weapons, Chen's final message echoed through space. Remember this day. Remember why humanity chose to sleep, and why our awakening marks the beginning of a new era in galactic history. The Ghost Fleet hung in space, a testament to centuries of patient preparation and technological evolution. But even this display of power was calculated. Another step in humanity's carefully orchestrated emergence onto the galactic stage. Gods of War. On the Zarkath throne world, crystalline buildings shattered as the quantum shockwave of their fleet's destruction reached their home system. First Speaker Kill stood in the council chamber, watching as the impossible became reality. The mighty Imperial Reserve, 30,000 ships of the line, had been systematically dismantled by human forces that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. "We have another transmission from Earth," a subordinate announced, mandibles clicking in distress. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, through channels that shouldn't exist." Admiral Chen's image appeared before the Zarkath High Command, not as a hologram, but as a quantum projection that existed simultaneously in every part of the chamber. "Your empire has a choice to make," she said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. "What happens next depends entirely on your response." In Earth orbit, the combined might of humanity's true military force assembled. The Ghost Fleet, the Titan-class battleships, and weapons platforms that had remained hidden in dimensional pockets for generations, all of them revealed at last. But even this display of power was calculated, another move in humanity's long game. "Deploy the Lazarus Protocol," Chen commanded through the quantum network. "Show them why we chose to wait for so long." Throughout Zarkath space, human ships began appearing from quantum fold points that shouldn't have existed. They emerged near every major imperial world, every military installation, every strategic position the Empire had fought secure. But they didn't attack. They simply waited, their presence a reminder of how completely humanity had infiltrated their society. "Your empire has conquered 100 worlds," Chen continued, addressing the Zarkath leadership. "You've subjugated dozens of species, all in the name of civilization and progress. But you never asked why Earth remained untouched, why no power in the galaxy ever tried to claim our world." From her command center on Luna, Chen activated humanity's final revelation. Across the galaxy, hidden quantum sensors awakened, revealing the true extent of human preparation. Every war the Zarkath had fought, every technology they'd developed, had been observed and analyzed by hidden human observers. "We are not your enemies," Chen declared, her voice reaching every corner of Zarkath space. "We could have struck at any time in the past 3 centuries. We could have prevented your empire from rising. Instead, we watched. We learned. We prepared." In the Jupiter shipyards, Fleet Marshal Jackson oversaw the deployment of humanity's most advanced technological achievement, ships that existed simultaneously across multiple timelines, their quantum cores drawing power from the fabric of reality itself. "Your attack on Earth wasn't a surprise," Chen continued. "It was inevitable. Every species that achieves interstellar travel eventually faces the same choice: to reach for power or to learn wisdom. We chose to wait, to see which path others would take." Director Zhang's voice joined the transmission from Mercury. "The quantum analysis is complete, Admiral. Their entire military infrastructure is mapped. We can disable their fleet with minimal casualties." The Zarkath High Command watched in stunned silence as human ships demonstrated capabilities that shouldn't have been possible. Vessels phased between dimensions, Weapon systems adapted in real time to any defense, and quantum field manipulations rewrote the laws of physics on a local scale. You thought we were gods of war. Chen addressed the first speaker directly. You weren't wrong, but not in the way you imagined. We didn't achieve this power through conquest or subjugation. We achieved it through patience, observation, and understanding. Throughout human space, new installations revealed themselves, not weapons platforms or military bases, but research centers and diplomatic facilities. This had never been about war. It had been about preparing for peace. Your empire stands at a crossroads, Chen announced. You can continue on your path of conquest, and we will be forced to demonstrate the full extent of our capabilities. Or you can choose a different way. We offer not submission, but partnership, not subjugation, but evolution. First speaker Cthul rose from his crystalline throne, his form pulsing with the weight of realization. You were never sleeping, he said. You were teaching, waiting for us to be ready for this moment. Now you understand, Chen replied, a smile touching her lips. Humanity didn't hide its power out of fear. We hid it because true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when not to. We are not your conquerors. We are your guides. The Ghost Fleet hung in space around every major Zarkath world, their presence both a warning and a promise. This was humanity's true role in the galaxy, not as conquerors or destroyers, but as guardians and teachers, waiting for other species to reach the point where they could understand the responsibility that came with power. The choice is yours, Chen concluded. But know this, humanity has awakened not to wage war, but to ensure peace. We are the sleeping giants of the galaxy, and our dream has always been of a universe united not by force, but by understanding. As the Zarkath Empire faced its moment of decision, the truth of humanity's long game became clear. They hadn't been hiding their power. They had been cultivating it, waiting for the moment when they could guide the galaxy toward a future where technology served wisdom rather than conquest. The gods of war had awakened, but their purpose was not destruction. It was evolution, understanding, and the promise of a galaxy where power served peace.